This is a quote from Andrew Carnegie, and the quote is this: over 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. Yes? Our next presenter is the president of the Real Estate Investment Network, and he began building his personal real estate portfolio in 1985. What year? And using the real estate strategies that he now teaches, he became a millionaire long before he was 40 years old. Over the years, he's purchased over 286 positive cash flow properties. I've heard of him. And now he's helping others become financially independent by sharing with them his real-life real estate investing strategies through his Real Estate Investment Network. The members of his group now own over $580 million worth of real estate, and they add over 100 properties each and every month. We're talking serious stuff here. All right, that's over $500 million worth of property. So, are you ready to learn a little bit about how to do this stuff? All right. And again, I just want you to keep in mind that even if you think that, this is for you or not for you, let that go for now. Just learn and learn and learn, because you never know. I think you're going to have a really good time. Are you ready? Yeah. Are you ready to give a peak potentials welcome for Mr. Don Campbell? Thank you. Beautiful. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, let's rock and roll. I have a 3-hour presentation to give to you in an hour and a half. And that's no lie. And that was twisting Harv's arm to get the hour and a half. So, has anybody ever negotiated with Harv? I want him on my team. Anyway, before we start, there's one thing that I learned a long, long time ago is to be successful, you have to be surrounded with like-minded people and have great coaches. Coaches on life, coaches on real estate, coaches on finances, the whole thing. And I want to give Harv a huge hand for giving 5 days of coaches for you to listen to. Give him a big hand.
Thank you.
Okay, enough about Harv. I am sick and tired. That's what I'm hearing over and over and over again. When people are opening up their retirement savings plan statement reports, we deal with thousands of Canadians and hundreds of Americans. How many are Americans here? Okay, thousands of Americans and 100 of Canadians. The reality is that a recent survey was taken of North Americans, and it's true, it's North America. You'll see the slides, it actually says North America. That 7 out of 10 people now are resigned to have to work in their retirement. Now, work and retirement are kind of opposite ends of the scale, right? So, do you want to be part of the 7, or do you want to be part of the 3 that aren't going to work? Hands up if you want to be 3. Hands up if you want to be 7. Well, some people want to do that. That's great, because what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you 7 out of 10 North Americans. That's the recent survey. And another one was 7.5 out of 10. I don't quote that one because I've never seen a half a person retire. So, bottom line is, who's Don? Who's Don? We have realestateinvestmentnetwork.com, which leads you to all of our groups around North America. But the reality is, right now, albertarain.com has all of the information that you need, and I have a free gift for you guys at the end of the day. Is that okay? Yeah. Good. Woo, I like this crowd, Harv. You should have me out more often. Systems, baby. Systems is where the rubber hits the road. Brent talked about his system. Great system. I've seen it work before, and thank you very much for sharing that again, Brent. That was great. Ours is strictly about real estate. Now, how many people have attended a real estate course before? Okay, keep your hand up. How many of you have bought 2 or more properties after attending a course? Please note, about what, a quarter actually put it into action. Well, here's the reality is, we know that, and that's why 10 and a half years ago, we started completely differently so that people are taking results. Hence the reason that we're at $580 million worth of real estate. Hence the reason that what's the date today? 12th or 15th or something like that? On the 1st of this month, we closed on another 31 units. What I talk about here and what I'm going to share with you guys today is exactly what I do and exactly what all our clients do. And you know what? I'm not going to ask you to join RAIN. If you want to join RAIN, that's great. If you want to hang out with us, that's cool. But here's the kind of results with this system, this quick start system that we talk about constantly. 108% per year for 6 years. How do you do that? You know when to get in, when to get out, and you leverage your money. And more importantly, what do? You leverage your time. Because time is the only non-renewable resource, really, that we have. And who wants to run around dealing with being a landlord and unplugging toilets and all that kind of stuff? I do. Oh no, that was before. Toronto was 122, and this does not include cash flow. This is just equity return on your investment. That's what this system does. So think in your mind that when property values go up 9%, which is quite easy in the markets that we target, 10% is even easier for you to do math at this time of the morning. $580 million times 10% is how much? $300. No, you're wrong. It's $58 million that portfolio increases every year. So you can get fantastic returns all day long, and they look fantastic. I actually toned those numbers down. Toronto's actually 192% a year over 5 years. And it's just learning how and when and where. And guess what? That's what we're going to talk about. The 3 pillars of real estate. I don't have to do this because, Harv's told you. 6,593 properties. There's this system that you're going to learn. And there's RAIN. Yes, you can join. That's great. Love it. But that's not what I'm here for. The 3 pillars of real estate. You have handouts. Some of these slides will be in there. You will also need a piece of paper. You'll need a piece of paper because we're going to give you the top towns in North America to invest in right now. Interest to you? Yes. Beauty. Well, I'm not going to do that till the end. When, where, and how. There are your 3 pillars. When to get in, where to buy them, and how to buy them smartly, intelligently, instead of the opposite. Okay, there are a lot of 3 things in here. But I'm telling you, boiling it down, after teaching this for 10 and a half years, we've been teaching this, that there's only 3 key components to successful real estate. Systems, relationships, and follow through. And guess what? Systems, we can give you. We can show you a system that works. We can show you we can show you 5 systems that work. As long as you get on that track and stay on that system and don't let all this other stuff distract you, you'll be fine, okay? All those people who had their hand up at our real estate seminar, and I don't know which one they were at, because a lot of them dropped their hand, but you have a system, right? So we know that. Relationships. Well, that's what RAIN is all about, is about building and sharing relationships, because if you surround yourself with the right people, the right banks, the right realtors, all that stuff, the right lawyers, the right accountants, you will clean up in this marketplace. Any marketplace, anywhere in North America. But this is the one that always gets the moans. And this is the one why hands drop down. The follow-through is up to you guys. There is not a darn thing I can do about it. I can give you everything and walk you right up and show you exactly how to do it. But if you don't follow through, guess what? Exactly the same results again. So, sorry to make you responsible, but that's the truth. So, how many people are willing to change their actions to change their results? Hands up high. Yes. And that's critical, because if you're not even willing to put your hand up, systems, relationships, and follow-through. I just want to go through this one here. Your number one relationship is not your lawyer or your banker or your anything. It's your tenant. Because, guess what? Real estate or property is not your asset. It's the tenant that pays you every single month, not the property. An empty property is the bank's asset, not yours. The tenant is absolutely critical in everything. It's even more important than rain. You didn't hear that. Rain members? Who are teasing? I think I gave you the definition of a tenant because it's long, but I'm going to read it here. A tenant is a partner in business who will open up shop each morning and lock it up at night. They will look after security and inform you of potential problems in the business. They will cut the grass, rake the leaves, shovel the snow, pay all the utilities. They'll even pay all of your mortgage payments and taxes. Then, in the end, they will relinquish all monetary interest in the business, walk away, leaving you with the profits. That is a tenant. And that's what you've got to get in your head. When you do not just stick any old grow-up in there, you want a profitable grow-up. For those of you who are from BC. How many people are from BC? Okay, let's do this. How many people, by sound, not hand, are from British Columbia? How many from Alberta? And the US of A? See, whoever goes first always is the quietest because they're not quite sure how to push the thing. And that's why the tenants are the most important relationship in this game. The tenants are the most important relationship you have in business. I highly recommend to everybody that they cut that out, now that you don't have it, and put it in your office wall. Because whenever the tenants are you off, you need to go back to that and say, is this a relationship I want to keep? Or is this a relationship that I'd rather not have? And that is critical because you don't want to hang around and try and collect rent. You want somebody who takes care of your properties. We talk about them as equity building tenants compared to tenants. Okay, but tenants aren't often the sharpest tools in the shed. And sometimes you will get written requests and or suggestions from tenants. These are compiled by RAIN members, myself, and I think 2 of them are off the internet. I think you're going to like these. These are mailed to us. I'm writing on behalf of my sink, which is running away from the wall. So it's just an English issue, right? Would you please send a man to repair my spout? I'm an old age pensioner and need it bad. Okay? I request to remove my drawers in the kitchen. Permission granted, I guess. Just close your blinds. The toilet is blocked and we cannot bathe the children unless it's cleared. I think that's the rinse cycle. I think. When I'm in the shower, I love this one. I turn on the water and I get hot. Could some nice repairman fix my pipe so I don't always get hot? I think you're sending that request to the wrong person, but... Okay, now this one always polarizes the crowd. Some people go, that's just disgusting. And then other people really enjoy it. So, I want some repairs done to my oven as it has backfired and burnt my knob off. Don't be writing me a letter, go to the hospital. Crying out loud. The toilet seat is cracked, where do I stand? Wait. Signed, Julie. It's crazy. I love this. I wish to lodge a complaint against my neighbor in 211. When I get undressed at night, I can see him looking in my window with binoculars. Do I need to pull down my own shades? Not unless you want to be on the internet. It's up to you. So you will get these kind of requests. Quite often they're not as humorous, but just understand, Tenants are your asset. Please treat them that way. They are the ones who take care of you, take care of your mortgage payments, take care of everything. So, enough of that. Systems, relationships, and follow-through. 3 pillars. 3. How many? 3. Harv, you've got these guys fired up. The time is action, but you really seriously have to follow a system. Because running out and buying any old piece of real estate ain't gonna make you wealthy, and it ain't gonna free up your time. And that is so critical. There's a number of Alberta REIN members in here already. I'm starting to recognize the faces as I'm scanning. So welcome here. And you can talk to any of them, and they'll tell you that without a system, you will stop at 2 properties because you'll be driving yourself absolutely bonkers, and you'll run out of money. No matter how much money you have, you'll run out of money if you're not buying following a system. So let's get into that. This is proper English. Just what works. That's all we ever teach. That's all we ever talk. I've been doing it since 1985. My first property, bought it in a joint venture when I was much younger than now. Now that I'm over 40, I can, but that's how many properties now. That's the latest. Using this system. So you know it works. You know it's proven. The same system works south of the border, north of the border. I teach it the whole the whole area. But here's something I want you to see. People who soar are those who refuse to sit back, sigh, and wish things would change. If you were those kind of people, you wouldn't be in this room. So congratulations on not being those kind of people. They neither complain of their situation nor passively dream of some distant ship coming in. In other words, lottery ticket buyers, right? That's Charles Swindoll. People who soar are those who refuse to sit back and sigh. So all those people who committed to changing what they're doing to get different results, that put up their hand, you've now made that commitment to yourself. Because let's be realistic. We love giving you the tools, and we do care about you, but we can't make you do it. We can't make you do it. Now you've made a commitment to yourself, not anybody else. So here's the system. Pillar numero 1. Number 1 for the Americans. When? It always follows a predictable pattern. Every boom we've studied the booms that we haven't invested in, we've studied the booms that we have invested in. It's a predictable pattern over and over and over again. And that is the real estate cycle. How many people know somebody who farms something? Okay, well, these jokes are going to be really long and boring for the rest of you. What do farmers do in the winter? They curl, they drink, they go to Vegas. What else do I hear? Repair their equipment. They better not be harvesting in the winter. What they do, really, they plan. They plan what they're going to be doing come the spring. Which fields am I going to do this? Which greenhouses am I going to plant that? That whole thing. So generally, the outside farmers are sitting back, curling and planning, and bitching that there wasn't enough rain before. Now, in the spring, what do? Plant like absolute crazy. They go crazy with their planting because they know they have a very short window to roughly the May long weekend that they have to have everything planted. Then in the summer, what do? They just tend their crops. They just kind of take care of them. They overseed, which means a little more planting going on in the summer. And then in the fall, it's the exact opposite of the spring. They harvest like absolute crazy. They get out there because, as they say in the prairies, the big white harvester comes through, which is called snow. Yeah, BC people, there's this white stuff. Comes down. It's really neat. You harvest like crazy. Now, it's exactly the same for real estate investors in every boom situation. And that is, in the winter, not the winter called January, but the cycle called winter, which can be 3 or 5 years long. A real estate winter can be 5, 8, 10 years long, depending on the fundamentals. You study, you educate, you prepare. That's all you do. Do not force yourself to buy when it's a crappy time to buy. And that's what gets you into trouble. In the spring, which is another 3 to 5 year program, roughly, you buy everything you possibly can that fits your system. System. Get that. Not just buy everything. Then in the summer, you manage the ones that you've got. You make sure that the value is going up. The summer, by the way, is another probably 5 to 6 year program, roughly. You manage them, and during that time, you also buy a few more. It's like overseeding, right? Because you'll come across deals that will be just terrible to pass up. And then you sell and you reap the profits in fall. So what do after you sell and reap the profits? You can start again, but if you do it right, you do whatever you want for the rest of your life. Honestly, you get to do what I do if you want. I do this because I love it. I love this teaching and sharing and stuff. You have no idea how jacked I get by doing this. So you've got the cycle. You've got an S-curve. Now, this is an overall demand. Each marketplace, Alberta has a specific S-curve. BC has a specific S-curve. Western US has a different one than the Midwest, etc. But here, from an overall North American marketplace, is the general S-curve. And what happens in an S-curve, and I'm running down here. Down here on the bottom part is when? On the cycle. Yeah, it's the winter, and it just starts to hit spring around this growth. This is where you're buying. And then, as you hit the 50% mark and above, it's summer. You can still pick some more up, but you want to be buying between the 10% and the 50%. And then you sell like crazy as you hit 90 because two philosophies: never shoot for the peak, as I'm sure Brent will tell you, never shoot for the peak because you'll always miss, always, and always leave something on the table for somebody else. Always. This is not a game where you're here to make a bajillion dollars at the backs of somebody else. Your job is to get in, get out at the right time when you feel right, or by the way, when you get on the free newsletter, when I tell you it's right. I'm one of those psychos who studies economics like daily, and I really enjoy that. And my wife always shakes her head and wonders why, but there you go. But here's the estimate. Here's roughly 1996. We were kind of floating in wind. This is North America wide, right? 2000, we start to hit the spring. 2004, which is right about now, you start to buy and you start going here in 2008. This is North America wide. You want to be out no later than 2012, period. Period. Because that's when the peak is going to be roughly. Now, we keep updating that as we study the demographics, and each market is a little bit different, but you want to be out by 2012 because that's where all your profits are going to be made. Then you should be done by then. Are you okay with that? How many years is that? Does anybody have a calculator? It's not a lot of years. And if you do it right and follow a system and don't allow people to come to you and go, oh, I got this latest thing, you got to do this and over here. And then as you're walking towards your goal, somebody else takes you and says, oh, wait a second, I got this other great thing over here. It keeps taking you away from your system. Don't allow other people to screw you around. Pick whatever system it is and go with it. And by 2012, you'll be done. Period. Doesn't matter what age you are. You're okay with that, I bet? Just to plot some spots here, that's roughly where the Edmonton area is. Edmonton, Devon, St. Albert, that whole area. Edmonton is in mid-Alberta. Okay? Vancouver is about there, the non-LRT towns around Vancouver. And then the Okanagan is about bang smack in the middle. Now, if you're in a construction business, now would be a good time to go to the Okanagan. And that's not supposed to be funny. That's called a hint. If anybody's interested. But I've got sad news. I got bad news. Harv loves bad news, right? Because bad news is opportunity. Success is not a straight line like that. Guess what? There's ups, there's downs. There's ups, there's downs. All over the place. And this is kind of the economist's view. I have a lot of friends who are economists who, this is how they look at life, and they golf like that too, but that's a different story. But real life is like this, okay? You will be going down and up and down and up and going, oh my God, the end, the world is ending. Oh wait, I just read something else in the newspaper that says we're at the peak. And then, oh, wait a second, the newspaper the next day says it's great. Just be aware of that. If you're aware of that and you put that on your wall, just to remind you that, oh man, this is a bad day. It must be on one of those down days Don was talking about. But here's what happens in the plateaus. Every boom has two distinct plateaus when the market takes a breather, okay? The plateaus that scare and kick out the people who are pretenders, who are not taking this seriously. It's the upticks, like this Vancouver market, which we can talk about off the tape later. The market exuberance, that's when everybody gets in. That's where the greed glands kick in. Oh my God, everything's positive about the real estate market. I got to get in. And then, of course, the market takes a breather. Vacancy rates go up because of overbuilding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then fear kicks in. But during fear is a wonderful time for people who study economics to buy, right? Right? Yeah. And then, all of a sudden, that plateau kicks off again, and you're moving on up, and you're about 2010, 2009, and you know what's breaking loose? And everybody's saying, you got to be in real estate. That's when greed kicks in. And then once again, the plateau fear, and here's the one that'll catch 25% of real estate investors, even if they're in rain, and we've been telling, get out, now's the time to get out. Because greed, when you're at the peak, because when you're at the peak, everything looks beautiful. It's like standing on the top of Whistler, right? Looking around. But guess what? That's the time to sell. When the market is through its two plateaus and you've hit this part, I will clearly stand at the front of the room and say, it's now time over the next 2 years to start divesting yourself of property. And 75% of you will do it. The other 25 will ride the Vancouver, did I say that? Will ride the market back down again and going, oh, man, that's twice I've got caught by that. Right? How many people, Vancouver Island. Anybody invested in Vancouver Island a while ago and rode the down and then we're starting to come up again? Oh, good. Because that's what happened. We said, get out, and they didn't get out. And now they're substantially negative cash flow. The key is to know the fundamentals. And that's what I want to do. This is the key. Always remove emotions. Do not fall in love with your province or your town because you live there. That will kill you financially. Do you care where Nortel Stock's head office is? No, of course you don't, because it's in Toronto and you probably wouldn't buy if you knew that. But that was a Vancouver joke. I can't, Western Alberta, whatever. Take the emotions out of the decisions. Just focus on the fundamentals, the real estate fundamentals. And that's what the systems do. And I'm going to go through a couple right now, and I'll tell you right now that if you take the emotions out, what the heck does he know about Idaho? Because you got to understand, I teach this all over the place, all over North America, and I get that all the time. What does he know? The bottom line is that means the person is saying, well, that won't work in my backyard. And it always works in somebody else's town, doesn't it? Never works in our backyard. This will never work. Take the emotion out of it. Analyze it like it's an investment, because it is one. But I really want to own in Squamish. Me too, which we're going to talk about here. How about somewhere? You're going to like these, I think. Economic and demographic fundamentals are what I study. We have a computer model now that has taken 8 different booms and designed a model. So now we can plug all of the key components into this model, and out the bottom spits a town is going to go very well, it's going to go average, or it's not going to do well at all. And we share that with our RAIN members all the time, and we actually share it at the live Quick Start program, which we're going to do for the first time, by the way, in Vancouver, if anybody's interested, end of November. But that's really the key, is to get the emotions out and focus on the fundamentals. Fundamentals are what? Boring. But is investing supposed to be exciting? If it's exciting, you're in the wrong game. It can be fun. You can celebrate your wins, but please, guys, women, I don't have to tell you this, because once you get, this is proven over and over and over again, once you get a system, you go, oh, this works, and you do it. Now here's the guys. Well, this works, but I can do it better. And then I spend a year and a half trying to reinvent the system, and you're out here on the precipice doing your thing, and then, well, the gals have all passed you, and then you come going, oh man, I can't admit this to anybody, but I'm just going to go back to the system. You wander back here, and it gets boring again because it works, just like anything. Investing is not supposed to be exciting, it's supposed to be fun. So get back on your track, stay with the system, and don't screw with the system. Or as they say in other parts of the country, don't mess with the system. But I felt I can use screw. One of the key components is the Housing Affordability Index. That means how much of after-tax dollars. So you're making X number of dollars, and you've got the tax component, which in some provinces is quite substantial. And you have this pot at the bottom, right? How much of that do you have to put towards an average piece of real estate? Okay? A good watermark is about 33%. Okay? 33% is a good watermark. Now, this is my concern. 2001 to 2003, so this is 2 different years of the same thing. In BC, 39.3% in 2001. It's now costing almost 43% of after-tax dollars to own a median piece of real estate in the province. And you do not want to see that number for Vancouver, because it's a lot higher than that. Understand, a good watermark and markets will always move towards about 33%. Okay, just be aware of that. Ontario, 31%. Good market, not a huge boom opportunity. Quebec is 30.5, but you can choose whether to invest there or not. 28.3 of Alberta, and I say this, I live in Abbotsford, so I am BC, so you know, I invest in fundamentals. Between 2001 and 2003, the values of property in Alberta went up 18% on average, and it did not affect the Housing Affordability Index. So people are making and keeping more money. Therefore, the ability for the market to move up is there. BC, you're going to have to choose, you're going to have to do some pretty unique strategies to make them fit the system. But you don't have to live where you invest. I've invested all over North America. I don't have to live there. You know what I mean? It's an investment. So that's just one thing. So in your town, in your city, all this information is available to you. Make sure you study it before you get in. You want to look for a declining unemployment rate, both current and projected. Why is that? Because more people are earning money, therefore they're feeling more confident, and as David Baxter of the Urban Futures Institute discovered in wasn't that long ago, here's the bizarre statement. If people are earning and spending more money, real estate values go up. Exactly, you say no kidding, but they didn't even announce that. He didn't even put the correlation until about 8-9 years ago. You want to look for in-migration. Is the town you're investing in attracting more people than they're leaving? These are so basic, but most people don't pay any attention because they get caught up in the emotion of, I lived in New West my whole life and I just want to invest there. Just for, this is just a quick look at Canada. You see the in-migration that's going on in all the different provinces, or out-migration, as most of them are. You want the low taxes and a lower overall cost of living. But the cost of living is not as important as the net at the end of the day. How much money does somebody have to spend at the end of the day? That's what drives real estate prices. Everybody thinks it's all these other components. But if people don't have the income to support it, or the rents to support the values, then what happens? Plateau, baby. And this plateau will go forever until something happens, until jobs start to pour in, till people are feeling more confident. Look for a future, not a past. So important. So many people are focused on what happened in this town before. Take, for instance, Grande Cache, Alberta. Anybody know Grande Cache? Great place to invest at one point, but then the mine closed. Does that mean that it's still a great place to invest because previously it was? The answer is no. Now, that's going to an extreme to make a point, but don't get caught in what's happened before in that town. Always focus on what's going to happen. Where's the migration? Where's the employment? Where's the money going to come from? Because you can always get cash flow in any marketplace if you buy right, even in some of these tougher towns. Top 10 areas. Would this be interesting to you, or should I skip them? Yes, skip them? Yes, skip them. Okay, just turn the screen off. I'll flip up. Ottawa-Gatineau Valley. The average after-tax income in there is one of the highest in the countries. It is a great spot because does the government lay people off? Sadly, no. Ottawa-Gatineau Valley. Kansas City, a great spot and an average football team. Fort McMurray, Alberta, a town of 40, what is it now, Donna? 46,000, something like that? 46,000 people with close to $60 billion being poured into it. Do you think that those people feel pretty comfortable about their jobs? Oh, yeah. Fort McMurray, Alberta, you can get cash flows like crazy there. But a one-bedroom apartment, this is 4 hours north of Edmonton. It is 4 hours from anywhere. And the one-bedroom condos are selling for $101,000. In Vancouver, that doesn't sound like a lot. Believe me, it's a lot. It's $101,000. But you can get, if you just put some couches in there, you can get, guess what? $18.95 a month. But if you go to the Brick, you don't have to pay until like 2070, so it doesn't cost you anything. There are strategies and systems to everything. Remember this. Number 7, the Las Vegas area will continue to grow because of all the gambling addicts. No, because it's a good place to live, and that's not going to be an issue. And that's not just Las Vegas, it's the areas around, and we'll talk about that in a second. In BC, it's the Olympic corridor. Please do not get caught that the Olympic money is going to make Cranbrook explode, okay? What I'm saying is that Vancouver, somewhat Richmond, Lions Bay, Squamish, Whistler, Pemberton is going to do very well. There are going to be tons of jobs created, but those jobs will start to peter out about 2007, about 2008. That's when the peak of everything is going to be done for jobs. So then what happens to real estate when all these people leave? Well, I don't think crash is the right word because what you're going to have is you're going to have those people that are demanding real estate up into the Olympics. But I don't want to be in that corridor. If I'm buying in 2010, I sure in the heck don't want to be in 2012 because it's done. Now it's a world-class city. I think we've heard that story before, haven't we? You study the Salt Lake, that's what'll happen. Anyway, BC corridor, great spot. You can still get decent cash flows. Calgary, Alberta, number 5, second most head offices of any city in Canada. Colorado Springs, great spot, great spot. mostly single-family home investing there. Barrie, Ontario. They are building, Barrie is about an hour northwest of Toronto. And we're trying to get them to be Canucks fans, but it's not working. But they're putting a brand new GO train back into Barrie. So that's going to free up the freeway. Any transportation change, there's a key for you, because I don't have time to teach you everything. But look for transportation changes. Red Deer area, Red Deer, Lacombe, Sylvan Lake, all that area. It is a huge boom area. And number one is Edmonton. Fundamentally, you can get cash flows, the values are going up, and guess what? All of that $60 billion that's being thrown in there to Fort McMurray has to flow through there. It is the number one place in North America, and guess what? I have a lot of American friends who invest in Alberta, especially Edmonton, because what's the prediction for the Canadian dollar versus the American dollar? The Canadian dollar will get stronger versus the American dollar. So not only is the market moving up, you're also on arbitrage with the dollar gets stronger at the same time. It's a brilliant investment for a lot of Americans and a great investment for Canadians. You like that, those towns? That going to help you? Okay, we'll keep going. Oh, keep your enthusiasm down. Understand, don't buy anything just because it's on the list. Always do your due diligence and follow the system. Whatever that system is that you want to follow. Use your scorecard, which is part of the Quick Start program. We have a scorecard. It's how simple it is. If you have a system, you walk through with this thing, you check off, ... Okay, does it have 6 or more check marks? Then I'm laughing. Is anybody interested in this? Who would like one of these? There you go. You're welcome, Jocelyn. Hey, is anybody not from Alberta would like to get a full report on the top 10 towns to invest in Alberta? Yo, you have to come to me, babe. I'm not going up there. Rose, where are you from?
I'm from Canada.
Seattle, beautiful Seattle, Washington. Come on, hey, step up to play. Here are areas that are not listed that you're going to want to focus on. Small towns compared to big cities. Small, I'm talking 10,000 people. You don't want to get too small because cities grew at 3.5% and outlying areas grew at 12.5%. Look for transition areas. Who remembers in Vancouver, Yaletown, and what happened there? It's the same as the Junction area in Toronto. It's the same as Inglewood and Calgary. Look for areas that were kind of crappy but are being gentrified and the boomers are moving in. And you'll see that mostly in towns that have lots of migration because they don't have the preconceived idea like, oh, Yaletown, I'm not going to move to Yaletown. It's a dump. It's the toughest part is to tell people who live in Edmonton that Edmonton's the place to be. It is. And you see the Vancouverites, we have Vancouver members and Calgary members, we fly into Edmonton, buy everything up, and the Edmontonians are going, right, Helen? You see it? How hard is that to say? Population, we talked about that, but here, this is a September 11th comment. Energy producing areas in North America is where I can't tell you what to do, but that's where I want to pour my money in. Because American economy is going to start taking off again. And the Canadian economy is already going well. In fact, it's the number one in the G7, number one in all of the G7 for 3 years in a row. And we wonder, I'm not doing a John Chrétien. I refuse to do it. No questions. I'll get you afterwards, if that's all right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, definition of energy. Oil, gas. I'm not sure you want to invest around a nuclear power plant. No, well, there's no jobs in hydro, right? There's not like a bajillion jobs. We want places like Dawson Creek, Fort St. John is going to go crazy. What did they just bid? $418 million? Somewhere in here I had that. $418 million just for the rights to develop the gas up there. So that whole area up there, look for these places that are burgeoning where the money is going to be poured in because we can't afford, as North Americans, to continue to pour money into the Middle East and have our oil cut off. On, off, up, down price. We might as well create it ourselves. We have more oil in the province of Alberta than Saudi Arabia. But it's not developed, and it's tougher to get out. But the prices have dropped to get it out. And that's why all these billions of dollars, Devon Energy, the first American company to go and write a full check for $400 million last week to get the rights to start developing in Fort McMurray. Take the motion out of the equation. You must follow a proven system. Yep, I've told you that. Pillar number 3. How? This is part of the Quick Start program. I'm just going to pop through a few things here. The Quick Start program, this is just the home study, and I don't want to tell you, it's just everything that I know about investing in real estate and how it's done. It goes through the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, another book and tape thing. Sorry, it's not for sale. But you've got to have a system. And I'm going to pick a couple of the key systems out of here. These are proven over and over and over again. The real profits are in the leverage, right? When you buy a $100,000 property for 25%, oh, let's do math. I don't have a calculator. For 10% down, how much is that? Okay. So you have a $100,000 property and it goes up 20 grand. You've got in for 10%. What's your return on investment? 200%. Most people don't get that. You haven't bought it at 100,000 and it's gone up 100,000. You've actually bought it, and I'm just doing math at 10% because it's easy. Bought it for 10 grand and it's gone up 20 grand. Therefore, your ROI is 200% or 100% if you want to take the capital off. The bottom line is look for leverage opportunities. Okay? Cash is king. Cash is king. The least amount of cash you put in to make it cash flow, the better. It sounds so simple, but most people think that it's like mom and dad. They always told me to pay down the mortgage. That's your house. This is a different world altogether. Different world. Quick leverage. Say in 1990, this was one of our clients. He bought in 1990 at 150. Imagine that in Vancouver. Put 20% down, sold in 1995. 5 years later, gross profit of 163. This is simple math, okay? This 108% is not a compounding or anything. It's just quickly, it's gone up from 30. You put 30% down, you've got $163,000 worth of profit because you bought right and you sold right. 108% a year in simple math. You can do the compounding and get it to whatever it is, but just quickly dividing. If you went and bought it outright at 150 with 100% down, what would be your return on investment there? About 100%, right? Because you've grossed 163, you put 150 in. The key is lower down, buy in the right marketplace, and sell at the right time. We have tons of these. Here's a Calgary one. 1998, $65,000 for a condo, up-down condo, 15% down. I think I like that deal. Okay, for 10 grand, roughly. Reappraised, not stupid, not sold, just reappraised. 2001, paper profit. It's not real because you haven't cashed it in. 27 grand in 3 years. You put only $9,700 in. These are how you get the returns. And none of this includes the positive cash flow because I never factor that in on my ROI until the end game. Does this make sense? Is this clear to you guys? Where we're talking about. We're not spending $100,000 for a $100,000 property. That's where the relationships come in. The bankers who will do the deals that the other banks don't. You know, in the Quick Start program, we have this thing called How to Get the Bank to Say Yes. And we go into grave detail on Saturday morning for 3.5 hours, how to get the bank on side. We had somebody last year, and I think, Helen, you were there, weren't you? Stood up and said, you taught me this last year. My banker will not give me a loan for my new Toyota Tercel. He says, I did this, I made the sophisticated investor binder that you learn about. I walked in. 3 days after I walked in the second time to the same bank, they said, we can only give you mortgages on 3 properties. Remember, he wouldn't. And yes, of course, the tercel is taken care of. And it's all in presentation. It's all in following a system. Because, let me show you what a seminar grad's like. Okay, Mr. Banker, it's unbelievable. I got this thing, it's cash flow, and the guy told me that if I get it down, I'm only putting 3% down, and then I'm going to do this. That is what bankers hear when seminar grads who don't have a system walk in. They're all jacked up and jazzed up, and they've got like 5 espressos in them, and they're, oh my God, this is my first property. It's unbelievable. And the bank's going, could you fill out this form, please, and take a breath. They will not give you money if you're all, and that's why a lot of people, I'm not saying you in this room, but a lot of people put their hand down, is because they've never been taught how to play the game at the sophisticated level. And that's what we do at Quick Start. So you no longer have to be a seminar grad, okay? The reputation. So this is just everybody says, so what should I buy? Should I buy condos or houses? The answer is yes. Just for instance, year over year increase, they're very similar. Single family homes, 14, condos, 16.6. That was in the Edmonton marketplace. Quite often they're reversed where the single family homes will go up a little bit. But here is the bottom. This is it, lifestyle choice. It's really not a financial decision. What do you want to buy is a lifestyle choice. It's the ease of management. It's so much easier to manage condos. And by the way, in North America, there are only a couple places that they leak. That was a good plan, that one. Let's change the building code so everything leaks. Management costs, just basically what you're going to find is professional managers for single-family homes, 9 to 12% of your gross rent will go to a manager. Okay? Condos, 5 to 9. Sometimes you can get it down to 4. And if you have a lot of properties like we do, we got it down to 3.5. But it's easier for them because they can control a whole building and a whole property. So it's a little bit cheaper. So I'm not here to tell you to buy houses or condos. I'm just here to tell you you have to make the decision. It's easier to manage condos, but values and some people like to own dirt. For whatever reason, they want to own dirt. You're going to get roughly the same return on investment, doesn't matter what you buy, okay? Just buy following the system. Whatever that system is, don't screw with it. Please. Quick Start program, due diligence system. Here's something that you're going to use. Here's something that's used to help create that $580 million. You have, what's the one non-renewable resource? Time, that's correct. You do not want to waste any time. No, that's not true. I can't tell you what you want to do. Some of you might want to watch The Simpsons. But I don't want to waste any time. And how do I do that? Is I don't waste my time on properties that won't even remotely fit my system. That's why when I deal with realtors or for sale by owners, I have this specific list of questions that I ask before I even get off my duff. And one of the questions I'm going to give you now. Due diligence system. It's part of this money funnel that we've designed. Slow. Looks like that. So you take all of the listed properties in the town that you're targeting. Say, for instance, in Kelowna, there are 1,100 listings currently. Do you have time to look at every one of those? The answer is no or no. To quote Robert Allen, yes or yes. What you do is you take all of these listed properties and you run over and you chuck them in the top of the funnel. Okay? Depends on if you're basketball or if you're volleyball, whatever. You chuck them in the top of the funnel. Then you go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 filters that increasingly get smaller and tighter and tougher. And then at the bottom of it, you just put that other arrow up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You buy them. All that's left at the bottom, if you walk through the money funnel, are the ones that you want to buy. That's it. That's how simple it is. And we can go in a 5-day boot camp about this, and if you negotiate that and all this stuff. That's fun, but this is what creates results. And that's why we do it over and over and over again. There's not one property that I have bought that hasn't gone through this 10% solution. A lot of you have heard of it. We started teaching it 10 and a half years ago, the 10% solution. And it's kind of neat when you throw the story out and to see what happens. 10% solution. It's the courses filter. It's at the top of the money funnel. Did I give you a funnel? I did, didn't I? It's at the top of the money funnel. And all it's designed to do is get rid of all the crap, right? It just filters it in. It's a big filter. And if it fits the 10% solution, it doesn't mean buy it. It means let's go do the next step. Okay, very clear? Don't just buy it because it fits the 10% solution, please. The courses filter, it's just a quick rule of thumb, so you narrow it down to, instead of 1,000 properties, you've got 100 properties you can start looking at and filtering through. Eliminates most of them. And how many realtors in the room? If I want to work with you and I give you some parameters, don't fax all the other stuff. And I know the realtors that are in here would never do that. But there are realtors that you will sit down with and say, I want condos in the West End, and they fit this, and they'll be faxing you North Vancouver houses. And that's part of the relationships that Rain designed. We've picked the ones that actually know what they're doing. Takes into account market rents and market norms for expenses, okay? It's just a rule of thumb, but it is critical to buy your time back. And then, since we taught it 10 and a half years ago, finally it showed up in Business Week magazine in October. You see there on the left, if you're investing in rental property, make sure your annual rental income equals 10% of the property's value. That's how simple it is. That's how easy. Most of us can do that in our heads. We figure out what 10% of the value is, and will that rent cover it? That takes into account everything. Yes, it does. Before you ask. Colin Schaefer it's funny because last night he just emailed me this. The 10% solution, he didn't email, he mailed it in. The 10% solution is a fabulous tool for weeding out properties that won't make me immediate money. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what it does. Just weeds out the properties that don't work. Okay, here's an example. Purchase price of $170, renovations 15, so your actual price is $185. Okay? Your rent is $995 main floor, basement $595, giving you $1,590. Is that, so for an annual basis, does that fit the system? I always ask that before I show the next slide. You forgot to multiply it by 12. 12 months times $1,590 gives you $19,080 rent annual. In that formula of the 10%, it factors in a vacancy rate, it factors in all that stuff. Understand, this is a rule of thumb. So now does it fit? Right, because the value of the property really is $185,000. You've got $19,000 of rent. This is a property that I would say, let's go do the next step. You can use that over and over and over and over and over again from now on. And that's a powerful, powerful tool. Single family homes or condos or duplexes or fourplexes. After fourplexes, it gets a little more complex. So anything like that, is that going to be helpful to you? Don't waste your time with things that don't fit your system, please. But here are the critical questions. The critical questions. That's new. What is the current gross rent of the property? Right? When the realtor phone's saying, I got this great property, it's on the waterfront, is this. These are the questions you ask to boil it down, whether it's wasting your time or not. What's the current gross rent of the property? What could I increase it to? Because quite often landlords are afraid to increase their rents. Okay? And does it fit the potential 10% solution? And if it does, we move forward. If it doesn't, we say, what else you got? What else is happening? How are the wife and kids? How are the husband and kids? Whatever. And what's the vendor motivation level? What's the answer to that question 99% of the time? It's high. I think they go through a course. Who's the realtor over here? There's a realtor over here. Is it an all-day course, how to answer that question? He's really motivated. But anyway, in Quick Start, you've got 13 questions to find out what the real motivation is. I think it's 13 questions. So that is the part of the money funnel that's going to help you out. So now, comes free gift time. I like that. Remember, no emotions. Absolutely critical not to fall in love with a property because it's cute or because it's next door or any of that stuff. Analyze it like a business person would. What is my return on investment going to be? I don't care where it is. Can it be managed? Yes. Okay, what's my return on investment? The decision maker is a property analysis form, analyzer form, we read any of it, and it takes you from soup to nuts. At the bottom line, it tells you exactly what the cash flow is going to be in that property and tells you this or this. And only after it fits the 10% solution do you go through the property analyzer form, because this takes, it's going to take like another 6 minutes of your time, because time is valuable. So all on one easy sheet, step-by-step financial analysis. I showed this to one of your speakers who's going to come up later on, I think tomorrow, and he was blown away enough that he photocopied it and put it in his book, didn't you? Teasing. Removes the emotion from the decision, because real estate is an emotional thing. We all know it. I get caught up in the emotion of some things too. This is just a quarter of it. You fill it in, you take all of the real numbers and what your projected numbers are. You flip it over, you do the rest of what your mortgaging is going to be, what your closing costs are going to be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's right at the bottom. It tells you yes or no. Would that be a valuable tool for you? How many people will actually use it, honestly? Okay. Well, then I'm going to give it to you. It's exclusive to Rain and Quick Start. And Donna, we've never done this before because I just did it. What I've done is I've put a link on the bottom of our website that no one else really, unless nobody scrolls to the bottom, we find. So it's at the bottom of this website, www.albertarein.com. You get on that page, you scroll down to the bottom, and it's some cryptic thing that says free tool or something like that, so nobody else really knows what it is. You scroll down to the bottom, there's a free newsletter there that I talk about all the economics of real estate in Western states, Midwest states, Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia. Sign up to the free newsletter, and then scroll down to the very bottom of the page, click on it, it'll come up in PDF, print it, save it, but the key is, because use it. And you know what? Some of you will email me, I've put this in Excel for you. That's very nice of you. I have like 30 of those. But I find that visceral handwriting works a lot better than typing it in. That's just me. But the formulas work better. Anyway, is that going to be helpful to you? That's my gift to you guys. Thank you very much. But there is a but. Right here. No, there is a but. I'm going to have to take that off in 7 days. Is anybody going to need longer than that to go to the website? Okay, how many days? Tell me. 10 days, Donna, if you want to write that down. Just scroll down to the bottom, click on it, it'll come up. That is a very powerful tool, and I think if you talk to some of the Alberta Rain members, the newest, latest version is way better than the old version. So how about your action steps? Rain is a group, but here's the key, and you already do this around the Harvest group, etc. Surround yourself with like-minded people, because there are enough negative people who are trying to steal your dreams out there. Can you imagine? Let me tell you a Rain story. We have awards, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond. And as you buy 3 properties, you get a bronze pin. How many people here own more than 3 properties other than the house they live in? Take a look around. Okay, now, understand that we give these out every month, and it's called Raising the Bar. Bronze, 3, silver, 8, gold, 17, 50, and 100. And now we have to make another one. Some guy just passed 208 or something. But what we do is you bring the people up to the stage, because everybody who has a success has to celebrate it, whether it's their first offer or their first property. Because can you imagine going in to the lunchroom at work. You pull up the chair. So what'd you do this weekend, Jim? Oh, I went and I bought 2 more properties. And what did you do? Oh, did you see that football game? Oh, it was awesome. They completely will they'll completely change the subject, or they'll say, you're nuts, 2 properties? Haven't you heard that landlord, you slum landlord, all this stuff, right? So if you're not surrounded with like-minded people who are always on the same track as you, it's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy. Surround yourself with people who are jacked up like you are. We bring people up. Congratulations, here's your silver pin. Here's 8 properties. No, you have 8 properties. Here's your silver pin. Congratulations. Here's 8 properties. Hey, I got a pin. Okay, back to the egg here for a second. They say, this happens over and over, and hell, you guys have all witnessed it. They come up and I go, hey, congratulations, Helen, how many properties you got? I only have 8. You imagine that? Because the bar pushes. You're surrounded with people who are doing stuff. You want to feel pushed to do it right and to buy. Now, if you went back to lunchroom and sat down and said, I have 8 properties, what's the response? What are you, crazy? Haven't you read the paper? Haven't you listened to Ozzy on the news? The whole thing is all about surrounding yourself with like-minded people. And you do that with Harv's group for all this amazing energy that you guys have. Now you need to do that. I would get together. Anybody who's interested in real estate in here, put your hand up. Okay, look around, get their email addresses, and hang out with them. Preferably the successful ones. No. Rain provides that to you. We are in Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton, and soon come January in sunny Vancouver, live. So we're going to be doing that, but that's not what I'm here for. Follow a proven quick start program. I'm telling you, I believe in this thing. I've been doing it myself for so long, and the result, you see some of the testimonials on the back. We get bajillions. That's a new number. Bajillions of those testimonials on the very back sheet there. I don't have to say it. It does it itself. You get on the track called Quick Start, you walk through it, you attend it live, and then you start taking it home and you start to do it, and you kind of go, whoa, is this ever cool? And here's the key. Stop dreaming. Start doing. What is it? What is that one shirt? Just. Yeah, I couldn't say that on the tape, right? Just frickin' do it. And then next year when I say, how many people attended a real estate program? And there'll be a lot more of you, I hope. And then, how many people have bought 2 or more properties? A lot more hands will stay up. Because that's what gets me, is when you guys are successful. Because the more people I can help become successful, the better the world is. Wouldn't you say? Yeah, damn right. And that's damn right, not darn right. You now know the 3 pillars of real estate, right? When, where, how. You can start analyzing, you can start doing your own thing. And that's it. What do you think? Thank you. But wait, there's more. Oh, beautiful. We are exactly on time. You got to like that. This is so unlike me. That's why you don't see me at a lot of these things, because once I get the mic, they can't get me off here. Anybody who is interested in hearing about the Quick Start program live? Yeah? Okay, I'll do a quick run through. Harv has asked me to do this too. How to get the bank to say it. These are things that you will learn at Quick Start Live or in the Quick Start Home Study. It's your choice, whatever floats your boat. How to get the bank to say yes. We walked through that system that I talked about earlier. Exactly how to get the bank to say yes. Believe me, we talked to a lot of bankers, and interviewed them and keep updating it and updating, because the rules change. Every single quarter, the rules change in banking. This will tell you how to do that. It's the due diligence. What the due diligence system is all of the steps in the money funnel that takes you to the places where you can buy. The 30-second RAIN property scorecard, which Jocelyn's now got, and you will all going to get one of those. You're all actually going to get more than one. The 5 strategies to get your offers accepted. because running out like a seminar grad and writing these bizarre psycho offers are not going to get them accepted. It's how to write the psycho offers and get them accepted. That's the key, okay? You got to buy this property because this guy taught me it. How do I identify the next boom wherever you live? I'll show you exactly how we do it and exactly how you can do it. So you don't have to just listen to me. The 9 questions you must ask before you buy any property, the proactive ownership and creative landlording, all that stuff that you need to do. Home study version is now a Canadian bestseller. Yes! Taught and proven, updated every single year. Actually, every 6 months I update it because it's that important. And it's really the most complete system of its kind, and I'm going to show you why I believe that in a second and why other experts are saying the exact same thing. The 14 hours, no follow-up. Here's the cool part. I don't get you in the room and then beat you over the head. Just leave your visa at the back. There are no follow-up courses, boot camps, or tape sets required. You can join RAIN if you want. If nothing else, you take that system and run with it. And just do it. And don't screw with it. It's so simple. Just proven results. 450, we counted them the other day, 456 I think it is, received in the last 2 years of people saying, oh my God. After Quick Start, I can see that purchasing and owning real estate isn't the great mystery I thought. I took nice toned down ones. I left Quick Start with the tools, relationships, the knowledge, and the motivation to start me on a course in life that will prove especially a true 10 out of 10. I have a whole slide projector full of these testimonials, and you've got a bunch in your hands. I truly believe in it, and so do these people. I really, really have enjoyed my time. They're the kind of results that have been created in the past. This is what's the line? Future results are not promised by the, But isn't it really time to stop dreaming the dream and start living the damn dream? Get going, having fun. No great deeds have ever been accomplished while waiting for great certainty. If you wait for great certainty, gang, it's going to pass you by. Whew, done, gone. So, this is not me. RAIN is by far the best real estate networking group I've ever come across, including the ones I've started, signed. We help you get whatever it is that you want. That's the bottom line in real estate. We only talk real estate. It's only real estate, and it's specific to what you guys need and what you guys want. I have had a wonderful time, and I want to thank you guys for all the time in the world, and thank you, Harv, very, very much. Thank you.
Give him a round of applause. Whatsoever.
Thank you.
Good job, Don.